My English is not so good, but I will try to speak. I was a very bad English student when I was young. I was a very bad. But I studied English in Japan with Japanese people. I will try. I will try. I will explain. Then I explain just my experience. I'm a computer engineer in the interior department, and I was charged to build an information system about the road accident. Then we made this system information, and we built, I would say, perhaps big data, but I don't think it's a very big data. It's about 1,000 tuple of information system, and we extract some information. It was strictly a database, and we extract this information. What was interesting in this system information is that we changed our mind about the happening of accident in Tunisia, because everybody thought that the accident is just between two cars. But in reality, the people involved in this accident or the injured people are the pedestrian people.
S'il vous plaît, un peu de silence, s'il vous plaît.
The majority of the people involved in an accident in Tunisia are pedestrian people. There are about 37% people who are injured in pedestrian people. And we changed our mind when we saw the road, when we understood the accident type happening in Tunisia. And at that time, it was about 15 years ago that task was built in our interior minister. And we changed our mind at that period. We are building a new system of rules for road. And we are thinking that we have to to involve just the people, the driver of the cars. But we need now to involve all the people who are using the road, pedestrian, people who are riding bicycle, riding the motorcycle, and we are involving other people who are constructing the road, because it's not just interior minister affairs. It's involving many people, like civil society, who have to educate people to manage their people who are using the road, like child who are going to school. We have to educate them to use the road, and we have to, for example, change the way of construction the road. Like, for example, make a bridge for pedestrian to the road. For example, we build some of them. Subway, we just build one, just one. But almost we build a bridge for pedestrian.
So essentially, what you are doing is analytics, right? So you collect various data,
We collect data and we analyze them to make this analysis.
Okay, so
and we understood more the road phenomenon of accident, and that database was presented in the OECD.
Okay, so basically what they are doing, they are using data analytic application for decision making, right? To build bridges, and to reduce the number.
Just not for our department and interior ministry, but all the departments, for example, the equipment ministry, the transport ministry, the society, the health ministry.
Okay.
When they collect the people injured, what they have to make for them, or when how it take time to go to the accident place and get the injury.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Oussama, you are, the leader in cloud computing division in IBM. Can you, give us some use cases, regarding the use of cloud computing and big data in Middle East?
Yeah, sure, thank you. Again, I will present myself. My name is Oussama. I'm the cloud marketing leader for IBM in Middle East and Africa. And I'd like to thank Subcom for the invitation and the Subcom team for putting together such an event full of technology. Well done, guys. And I love the slogan, dream big, get on the cloud, because simply cloud, mobile, big data, and analytics are the major disruptive changes that are happening now in the IT market in general. And it's important that all the students stay on top of those technologies. And it's really important to have around the table many subject matter experts to share their experiences in terms of using this technology in the normal world. Going back to your question, today, big data, analytics, mobile, and social are all changing and transforming the way enterprise and people behave, and it's all happening in the cloud. Examples are many. I will give the example of the smarter cities solutions from IBM, for example, going back to what our colleague from the ministry is saying, is when you have those intelligent solutions that analyze the data real time coming from detectors being put in different places in the city to highlight any traffic jams, and this intelligent solution will instantly change either the lights from red to green, or provide other new routes for the automobilists to take in order to win time. Another example around cloud is, for example, we take the example of SAP.
Yes. So I agree, but what is your return in experience from IBM?
Yes.
So what are your references? So for example, IBM, do you operate clouds? You advise your customer to implement private clouds. So can you tell us, exactly what happened?
Sure. Well, we can say today that we have a complete portfolio for cloud computing, starting from infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, and solutions as a service. We accompany our customer from thinking about their cloud strategy and having cloud strategy and roadmap by giving them consultancy server on how to optimize their cloud roadmap, then helping them build their cloud, either private or hybrid, depends on their needs. We can also help managed service providers become cloud service providers. Cloud services.
So can you give us references in the Middle East, concrete, projects in the Middle East?
We can give many references. Mobile in Saudi Arabia, King Fahd University in Saudi Arabia. We have Etisalat in the UAE. We have the Standard Bank in South Africa. We have Zitouna Bank in Tunisia. We do have several cloud references, mobile references, big data references, and we are working with the ecosystem around to make sure we are offering the best of breed services to our customers.
Okay, great. So Dr. Kashia, so I will be back to you. What are the references of cloud computing and big data in Malta, for example, where you are?
Yes, one of the references is here.
Okay, great.
I think I'm the odd one out in the group because I'm an academic, and everyone here seems to be either from the government or from industry. What I can comment on is things that we have done within the country from an academic point of view, not from a government point of view. So, first and foremost, one has to keep in mind that Malta at the moment is #1 in the EU for e-government. All the services on the island are fully linked, fully online. All the data is open, anonymized, obviously. We achieved this through what I think has to happen in other countries also. That is broadband technology, mobility.
Okay.
If you get these three things working in decent harmony, one with the other, you've got a recipe for something that can work well.
Okay.
I know how lazy the Maltese are. I know how shall I put it? How careless the Maltese can be also. So if it worked for us, I think it can work for anyone.
Okay.
Right? So that's one. And another project which we have going on at the moment is on the island we have a problem with the cars. Right? Every family has an average of 3 cars. Okay. So we are 400,000 inhabitants, maybe 420,000. So we are nearly, I think even over 1 million cars. Okay. So we have a problem with the roads on the island which cannot take the amount of cars anymore. So we have to optimize. You will not go to a Maltese person and tell him leave your car at home, okay? Because he will shoot you. Yeah, probably is true. So what we are trying to do is we have, well, one of the projects which I have is optimization, looking at the network of the roads as a graph, as a computer science problem, as a graph. Edges with the nodes on the graph, and then we try to apply graph theory and queuing theory to the graph or sections of the graph to try to optimize as much as possible of what is happening. Things like, if I had to close one of the lanes here, or if I had to do maintenance here, what are the repercussions? Okay. If I had to open here, what are the repercussions? But we have a problem, data.
Yes. So
no data.
Yes.
Right? The only way to get data, we thought, was obviously by putting the cameras on the roads and everything. And again, being Maltese as usual, no privacy. You are going to see that I'm not with my wife, I'm with my mistress. You see me passing in the road. No. So what did we do? We said, look, the same thing like I said in my talk in the morning. Data is being produced anyway. It's there. Use it. Mobile phones. Every driver, every car has a phone in it, even more than one. Right? Triangulate that information, get that information, anonymize it, and use it. And that's what we are working on now. So we're trying to apply big data analytics, combine that with graph theory and algorithmics, and try to use the data, the flow, big influx of data that's coming from the mobile operators, and try to make sense out of that. That is another story that I think will head towards some sort of...
Okay, so what is the outcome of this project, some concrete achievements?
Well, the achievements
data, etc. But
the achievement will be the widening of roads, building of overflies, overpasses, maybe the tunnels also.
Okay.
We are looking at the Chinese helping us build a bridge between the two islands, the two main islands, which is going to cost really a lot. So all of these things, you've got a lot of homework before you actually commit to these things. In the past, it wasn't like this. In the past, a worker comes in the morning, he decides he's going to close part of this road, and half of the island is out of action. That is how it used to be. But big data and the analysis of big data is helping us try to overcome that issue and overcome the cultural implications of that issue also, which is the most important. Those are two examples which I have. There are also examples in the medical field, which we are using to optimize the use of the hospital. Again, the patterns by which people come to hospital, incidents of accidents, use of medicines, seasonal changes, when flus happen or when pneumonia happens. Also, we're observing these things also. So far, we're at the stage of observing.
Okay. So we are not in the stage of building applications and just collecting data, processing, analyzing, etc. Okay, so I understand. So, Dr. Suzanne, can you give us your return of experience, in cloud computing and big data from your perspective?
Yes, sure, of course. As I mentioned during my presentation, the big use of the cloud computing that we are having is in our e-learning e-campus, cloud-based e-campus that allow our students to having not only a training, not only one course, but a whole program through the e-learning, which can be even a doctoral program. a 4-year program. Another thing that we use from the big data in our school, in our university in Paris, is this intelligent but check-in, check-out student cards, because our students' cards are with the QR code, and we have a tablet, a smartphone at the entrance of each. So there is no interaction. So it's Internet of Things. The student passes from the door, and we have the check-ins. He doesn't have to sign some papers or do any kind of the check-ins. This is another thing that we use ourselves in our university. Otherwise, from my own experience, which is because I am expert of digital signage, all of these advertising screens everywhere that you can see now, and we use the SaaS cloud to create content, to manage content, and to deploy contents. So imagine that you are sitting in your office and you just connect yourself to this SaaS platform, and you create content or you change content, and by a click in all of the sales points of, for example, let's say a brand, like in H&M in France, by a click, everything is changed immediately in real time on the screen. So I think this is amazing. This is making things very easy and doing it in purpose of marketing, communication, and also information and training.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Khaled, so what is your return of experience, from the startups that you manage in your incubator? Is there a potential for big data, given the startups that we have in your incubator?
Well, first of all, a small correction. My name is Khaled Ben Yunus, not Ben Yusuf. I was introduced as in the beginning. But, of course, big data and cloud computing are major technology trends. There is no question about their relevance for the future. It's clearly a trend. But as you mentioned, the key question today, and my contribution was aiming to discussing the value and maybe the chance of positioning ourselves into these major technology trends. Clearly, in the future, through these two technologies, you're going to have billions of devices connected, either through smart cities or IoT or whatever, which is a true chance to generate revenue and to position the economy, the national economy, in this environment so that we create jobs and move forward. And I think this is the perspective which we need to have today in our today's workshop. This is at least one of them, which is worth it to investigate and go in depth into it. Now, when it comes to our experience in Intila, or this initiative,
It's not Intila, it's a private incubator. Okay. It's an incubator.
I'll explain in two sentences.
Okay.
Intila is basically a business and innovation hub which has been created and put in place in Tunisia by three major partners who are Qatar Friendship Fund, Ooredoo, and Microsoft. And we are helping out through an end-to-end approach, helping out young innovators, startup creators to implement their business ideas and take it to the commercial level. And they're also including financing. Anyway, I will close the bracket regarding Intila because it's not our topic today. But frankly, when we think about things like big data and IoT, it might appear a big thing which is not necessarily linked to our reality, to our real world. But I will give you an example, which is one of our startups in our portfolio, which is simplifying these jargons and these technical trends to make it relevant and important, and hence contribute to the national economy. Now, there is one of the startups who is aiming into optimizing and increasing the honey production in Tunisia.
Yes, so it was mentioned by minister.
By the minister. And this is one of them. Basically, by need, in his family, there is somebody who is aiming into producing honey. So we saw that there are two parameters relevant in the beehives, relevant to the productivity of honey, which are humidity and temperature. And out of these two parameters, he created an overall solution for the producer to optimize and get the production from 10 kilo per beehive targeted to 30 kilo, which is a very straightforward, down to earth, and clearly defined use case important for the economy and adding value. And frankly spoken, I think this is the way we need to take these big technology trends. It's not about the technical jargon. It's about how to turn it into reality and make the return for the economy with Intila and the like platforms providing support, be it technical or be it finance. You have the opportunity, you have the chance, and this is something which we need really to take very serious.
Okay, so yes, this do you have another example in your startup environment? This is a great example. Well, yes, in your environment, this is a good example. But do you have another?
We have another startup which is not officially which is working on educational solutions with big data, but it's not officially launched, so I cannot disclose this the detailed product features. But we have another one which is focusing on big data. But in general, for all our startups who are joining the program, we have a so-called startup pack, which is about a set of tools, a set of development tools and office tools, along with virtual machines on the cloud, so that they use it, at least from perspective of user deployment of these technologies. There, it is a generalized approach in order to facilitate the go-to-market approach, in order to facilitate the deployment and development of products.
So I completely agree with Sihad regarding the abundance of technology. The problem is not technology, because we have a lot of technology. The problem is how to formalize the problems, how to find the good use cases, and how to create value. This is the real problem. Okay, so I would like again to ask Seychelles from Interior Minister about the problems. How did you find the use case for big data? What is your return experience in using big technologies in your environment? What are the problems?
Thank you. To formalize our problem, we asked the people who are working different fields about the same subject, about the road safety. And we make a formula to collect the subject. And all the departments in charge or involved answered us. And we change the mind of the people, their behavior. In such a way, we reduce the accident number and their gravity.
I would like to reformulate the question. So what I ask is, in security and safety, you have a lot of opportunities in using big data. So my question is, what are your difficulties in setting up this kind of projects? So what are the problems? Do you have a data collection problem? Do you have strategy problems? So what kind of problems do you have to execute your big data projects?
There is many big problems to execute the big data. We need, for example, financial amount to implement big data for our big data, our cloud computing. See? Because we can't, I think we have the strategy of this. We can't have a private cloud. We need a public cloud for our department. We have a big problem in our data center structure because we need people who are competent in this field. We don't have them. We need engineers. And I'm asking the student here to work a lot about this field and come work with us if they want in a PF project or something like this. Because really we need this skill in our department. We have perhaps to convince political people to implement this, because we are not a private society. Private society know this need, and perhaps they are looking to build their own cloud computing system. But in government office, it's very, very, very huge and very long. It takes long time to make this decision. About the data, we have a huge data, and we want to use them. And we want to analyze them to change perhaps Tunisian behavior, to go against crime. We implement the system just for road safety, but we need to implement them for other fields, to go against crime, for example. Or to change also the behavior of people to build a house. Because we see many people building
I would like to ask Oussama again, the same type of questions. So, what kind of difficulties your customers of IBM, they have problems in defining, a methodology how to extract the value from data? What is your feedback, from the field? Do they have some difficulties to do that? Do they have, existing use cases that would like to implement using big data and cloud computing? What kind of problems do you have with your customers when you go and present them cloud computing and big data and how to start up real projects in that area?
Yes, although there are much more benefits of cloud and big data rather than difficulties, I would say, but difficulties do exist. Let's take big data, for example. It's not about the data you have. It's not how much data you have in different volume, velocity, varieties, etc. It's about how to use this data in an intelligent way to get insightful recommendation and actionable insights. This is where we can find difficulty, is how to take this data and analyze it, get insights, and then take actions according to those insights that will increase the performance of the company. Those problems do exist, but there are also solutions for that. There are those intelligent software that can analyze the data, that can give recommendation, and that can create those dashboards to help you execute on the recommendation that have been provided. Let's take cloud. We all know that cloud is a cost-effective solution, and you don't need to invest in traditional IT infrastructure. In one click, you get the virtual machines you want, and you get the storage, CPUs, etc. But in terms of difficulties or barriers, we're hearing always the security issue, which is preventing some of our customers adopting cloud. And here, I would say it's more about stereotype, because security zero doesn't exist. But in sometimes cloud is more secure than the traditional IT infrastructure, simply because the cloud provider, this is his core work, and he has the best-of-breed security solution and cybersecurity software that the customer in his premises cannot afford. So going to the cloud can be a solution to the security breaches you may have, because the cloud provider have the innovative softwares for that. We also talk about data privacy and sovereignty. It's true that some of the data is critical, and there is fear to have this data outside of the country for public cloud, for example. But here the recommendation is to go for hybrid cloud, putting the critical data, the critical application within your premises, but I won't say get rid, but prioritize and take some of your workloads on a public cloud, and then you can have a hybrid cloud that is up and running, avoiding all kinds of obstacles you may have.
Dr. Kashia, so just the question, you know. So it's always the same question, okay? So regarding the use cases, you know, how to define the use cases for big data and cloud computing.
I think it's very important, that one, and I think this is going to apply for each one of us. You have to categorize the problems, the issues, as internal and external, because the internal problems are going to be different. They're going to be different from this country, be different from that company, this country, but the external ones sometimes are not. So if I have to go back again to our own, the first internal problem that we have is with the name, because the first word in the name is what? Big. And big is what we aren't. So that is our first internal problem. Even if we get all our information, we hardly qualify as that being big data per se. The second problem is relevance for us. Okay, we're in the middle of the Mediterranean, so we have now joined with Eurocloud, so Malta is part of Eurocloud officially. So we get statistics and we interact with Eurocloud. Is it? Yes, Eurocloud is an organization. It's a committee made up of representatives from academia, from industry, and from the government, the three ministries. Okay? They come together to see how cloud can be implemented in the country as a nation, as a concerted strategy between all the stakeholders that gives it a better chance of succeeding, rather than have companies individually say, well, I like it, well, I 50%, I 75%, I don't even know what it is. You don't want that to happen. That kills the initiative. So to have a generic same footprint, we call it, within the country, we established a Eurocloud. Eurocloud is Eurocloud all of Europe, and every country in Europe has got its own committee and organization and infrastructure for its Eurocloud. But the problem is this, Malta being what it is, we do not feel as close to the Norwegians, for example, as we feel, say, to the Tunisians, or to the French, or to the Italians, you know, because in Malta we split, it goes to Italy. We would like to see more regionalization of clouds. The power of the cloud, the strength and the output and the good things that you can get, the benefits that you can get from the cloud, is when you pool like resources together. Not disparate, like, close. So the problems that are in the Mediterranean, for example, are going to be shared by whoever is in the Mediterranean. So why isn't there a cloud pooling together the resources from the north of Africa, from the south of Europe, from the Middle East? I cannot say the West, because the West will go to America. And so why doesn't that exist? I think that has got much more to offer. Okay, the country can still officially be part of a larger, even bigger cloud, eventually the global cloud. But I think we should try to make people understand what the cloud can
Opportunities
give.
and difficulties in building an IoT ecosystem based on big data and cloud computing technologies.
I really understood what can be gained from the cloud. What tool have you given me here? Is this a tool to be afraid of? My answer, yes. Every tool, even that flower, is to be afraid of if you don't understand it.
So do you have, what are the cloud providers in Malta? Because a lot of people think about security, would like to have data, inside the country other than putting data in Amazon. For example, for my example, I don't have any problem in pushing data to Amazon. Okay, I don't have mission critical data. I would like to have analytics, to make advanced analytics in log data, website log data. Okay. But what about the case of Malta? So do we have local cloud providers?
Cloud providers per se local we do not have. We use. Again, because of the size of the island.
Okay.
So we use.
So your cloud computing platform is outside Malta?
It's outside. And that is what caused the initial inertia when people started to shift. When some companies went to IBM, when Azure was taking hold, now it's taking a lot of hold on the island. When emails from companies started to shift to Google Mail, to Gmail. Right? All of this was a problem we passed through. It was like giving birth. Very painful in the beginning, but once you get used to it, actually it's not the case. Once you get used to it, it becomes a bit easier. Okay? But the point at the end of the day is, if you're going to give a tool to someone, you have got to educate the person about the tool first. And I think that is missing, well, it was missing in our case. We're catching up a bit now. But I think you are still in the beginning, maybe. It's a good thing to keep in mind all the time. Educate, and that's why this is very good here. The same like what happened with the PCs, with the internet. Everyone was afraid to put books on the internet because they will steal. What happened? People simply didn't know what the internet could do. That is why they were saying it. Same with cloud. Same with open data, which is something you have not mentioned yet. Open data is a very important thing.
Do you have an open data project?
Yes. Most of the data in the university, hospitals, the police, the government is anonymized and open. And people always ask, and many universities in the UK, by the way, and in the US, keep their information open. And it's valuable information. And people say, why do you open the information? You can sell it. And I say, hey, hang on a minute. So, let's say I live in a flat with other people inside this common area. Okay? And someone says, look, the entrance, it isn't nice. I want to make it with marble. The common place, I want to make it with marble. Do you allow me to use the common area because you are part of it also? Now, in my head, I own most of the common area. Only a small piece is not mine. So I tell him, yes, do it. Why? Because he will do it. I'm not going to gain from what he does. Open data is the same thing.
Okay, great. So, but what is the outcome of open data in Malta? Do you have some successful, case studies?
There was one project, because it's the beginning, called Homer.
Okay.
You might have heard of it. Homer. Homer. And it was using information from medical associations to try again to optimize the business procedures and the patient procedures of the hospital. But my point is that open data is always good to give, because you take it, you use it, you refine it, and then it has the value, then I give it back to you. So you're doing work for me. So it's always good to have open data.
Okay, great. So, Dr. Susan, so what is your view?
Yes, I would like to undertake besides this security concern that we all have about cloud, I would also to undertake this privacy issue, this privacy problem, and going through the interaction through cloud when it comes to the behavior of the people. I would like to mention that people, when they think that they are behind this computer, they can let them go. They behave differently as they are physically in person somewhere. I give you the example of like social medias. People, they don't understand that even if they go anonymous, even if they go through a nickname, a pseudonym, but they can be identified, but sometimes not. This is the issue that I think we haven't solved yet. At some point, yes, but not yet. And which I can see, and I have read a lot about it, is the children, the teenage abuse through the cyber abuse. Through these cloud social medias and etc. So this is one thing that I still can't find any answer for this. This problematic that it remained for me unanswered yet. I mean, at some point. Coming back to our case, which is the e-learning, as I was talking, in the e-learning, the interesting thing is that the people think that because it's e-learning, they can cheat when they are answering questions. On our e-campus, they just copy-paste. Sometimes they just do, nothing. They log in from different computers in the same time. So this is a behavior that you cannot see. People don't dare that much to do in the real physical classroom while answering to their question, to the exam question. This is the problematic that we have a lot through. And for that, we have we find some solutions which are softwares that they can recognize if these sentences have been copy-pasted from somewhere, or behavior software that we can understand this grammar is not coming from the same person. This kind of stuff that we have resolved in our e-learning and e-campus platform. But I still believe that in open, public cloud, social medias, and all of these people are hiding themselves and they are doing, as in French we say, n'importe quoi. And some people are victim of this not control or privacy issue from the cloud. This is what I can see.
Okay, thank you so much. Give us your view, regarding privacy, the deployment of clouds in Tunisia.
I think again, I'm going to talk about chances rather than problems. And from perspective of a creator, of a startup, of an innovator, I think there are two major chances or challenges. Firstly, the business model innovation, and secondly, the technology innovation. So, and of course, if you want to build up your business in the frame of these new technology trends, I think the first thing to look at is the business model innovation, which means that maybe the easiest way to go for is to see what is going on in other markets, in other more mature markets, in other more advanced markets, and try to take it and adapt it for our needs, for our context here in Tunisia. And the other thing, which is about the technology innovation.
Yes, my question is about the bottleneck, the technology bottleneck, to deploy this kind of services in Tunisia. Because we know that the value is enormous for big data, predictive analysis, but what is specific to Tunisia, in terms of achievement for this kind of ideas, kind of services? What are the bottlenecks, the problems?
Maybe the before mentioned fact that people think that privacy is an issue, which is a major thing in all markets when it comes to cloud. But looking to the focus group we have here, the target group of innovators, I don't believe that this is really an issue. They are aware of the fact that you have security mechanisms, you have also when it comes to people like Microsoft, IBM, or Ooredoo, we have also our cloud solution. I think there is a kind of credibility which is facing that problem, and maybe relativity. When it comes to deploying it, I think we need to stress more about the time to market, which is clearly a big advantage for these people. And frankly, in our program in Tilak, I looked to the first group of startups where we delivered servers and laptops, and they built on their own.
Okay, but I would like to ask you a very concrete question. So, can you offer to these startups, some mechanism, for example, for SaaS platform or whatever? Because there is a problem. People, they don't have credit cards, international credit card to buy in Tunisia. This is a real problem. a lot of entrepreneurs in Tunisia, they don't have international credit cards. They cannot go to Amazon, for example, and to get a virtual machine from Amazon S3, etc. So they have a really big bottlenecks. So I would like to ask Mr. Khaled if they offer solution to these guys. I know that these guys, they have some workarounds to do that. I know one of these startups, they are using Réalisé, for example. It's an American company which offers what we call a PaaS, platform as a service. I know that. But they have to use some workarounds to get that.
Okay.
So for me, it's a real problem for Tunisian entrepreneur.
That's indeed an issue. I mean, when it comes to payments and to paying suppliers from abroad, to import things, it is an issue.
But can you offer, in Tilaka, for example,
Exactly.
can you offer a mechanism
Yes.
to bypass
Yes.
this problem?
We have through our partners, and specifically Microsoft, we have found a solution to deliver cloud services for free, for at least for the duration of the incubation phase, and then beyond there is a special mechanism which we apply. So we, through our partnerships, we lower the barrier and we make it possible.
What about Amazon? For example, Amazon is the king of cloud computing and web services. For me, Amazon, this is the boss, in terms of technology, etc. I think that the best thing, I don't know, this is an idea. So, for example, the kind of service you offer to entrepreneur, okay, you make an agreement with Amazon, okay, so that this entrepreneur can buy Amazon services. And Intilaka will be, okay, I think this is the best situation because it's really powerful.
Two points, Ahmed. I think our friend from IBM is not agreeing on Amazon, but
no, excuse me. So Amazon is an example. Sorry about that.
And maybe Microsoft not. So we leave it to the startup to decide on these kind of questions. But clearly, your point is valid and it's very important. It's key. We already having these kind of agreements with Microsoft, and if somebody from Amazon is here, he's welcome to give us that same support. And by the way, IBM as well. So we want to make life easy for the entrepreneurs, for the innovators, and your point is really key. We as a platform to facilitate innovation, facilitate startups creation. It is a value add which we have already now, but which we can extend with other partners as well.
Yes, I think so, because, okay, you can manage diversity, okay, so I agree, you can make partnership with IBM, with Amazon, with the big players, with Microsoft, that's excellent. Because diversity, you have a lot of possibilities, and the entrepreneur can take the best, providers, according to his needs.
Exactly.
Okay, but you can be one-stop shopping for the entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
You take a stakeholder of the company. Okay, I give you that service. You can be a proxy for Amazon, for Microsoft, and for IBM.
Actually, just to spend a few words on that, in Intilab we have three principles which we follow in our support for startups. The first one is end-to-end support, means from the idea up to the financing of your project. Second thing is about no one size fits all. Means depending on the need of the startup, the need of the entrepreneur, we're having a kind of target agreement to help out and to succeed the business. And final one is the network. This is what you're telling me. Basically, to have a one-stop shop, connected partners to deliver value for the startup, for the innovator, and this is what we are
Lunch break. Roundtable. Opportunities and difficulties in building an IoT ecosystem based on big data and cloud computing technologies.
Netflix, everybody knows Netflix. Netflix, they don't have any system in-house, or they even have, few systems, to store, their financials, that our house, but everything is in the cloud. There is no brainer. So if you'd like to give the chance to a Tunisian entrepreneur, we should give them
and difficulties in building an IoT ecosystem based on big data and cloud computing technologies.
To fix this problem, for me, it's a big
Lunch break. Roundtable.
As you mentioned, there is a frame which we cannot change immediately, which is the regulatory, maybe
Yes, yes, I understand.
Yeah, but we need to act within that frame.
You are completely right. You are completely right.
And here we have to have that creativity, as you mentioned, through partners, through aggregating efforts, and come back with a value proposition for those who are creating business.
You know, just to add another parenthesis, you know, so cloud computing can even automate the backend. You know, you have a new family of clouds, which we call backend as a service. We automate complete the database. We automate completely, you know, the networking part and everything. Okay, this is beyond SaaS. This is beyond PaaS. You know? Okay, and it's very sad to see. I see very great ideas here, you know, in Shipcop, because I'm the coach of the AMAD, so I know a lot of great ideas, and I know if they have this possibility, they can make big success stories. But we are facing to this bottleneck, you know, how to respect the regulation, because there is a regulation, financial regulation in the country. We don't break the financial regulation, but offering a solution, and I believe that Khaled will be able to do that, and that's quite important.
I mean, we're having already a kind of way behind us. I can say it is difficult, but it is feasible. We have now 21 startups in our portfolio in different phases of evolution, which is equivalent to 2.3 million dinar of financial commitment. So clearly, the possibility is there, the means are there, despite the challenging regulatory environment.
That's good. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes.
I wanted to share an issue here, because you mentioned earlier the problem with the credit cards.
With credit cards, yes, this is a big issue, yes.
That's a big issue. There is, one must remember that there are companies out there who provide a service to overcome that problem.
But Dr. Kashan, it's the same problem. We have to send money to these companies. And unless these companies come in Tunisia and have, you know, a local representation.
There is definitely one company I know, because it was started by a Maltese guy who used to work at university, called Ixaris. You might have heard of this company. It's multi-billion. They can issue a one-time credit card, a disposable credit card.
Yes, I understand, but the problem is money transfer between Tunisia and outside.
No need for a credit card. It can be done through banks.
But again, there is
okay. So the problem is not the credit card per se.
No, it's money transfer. It's money transfer between Tunisia and outside Tunisia. Okay, this is the problem.
Okay, the problem so that is a problem. But talking about the credit card issue, let's talk a little bit also about how cloud can help us in that regard. Right? Again, a personal experience. In the past, someone had taken 250 euros from my credit card a long time ago. To get those 250, to get the money back, I had to undergo nearly a trial in court. People coming to my home, interviewing me, asking me questions, blah, 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 everything. About 2 months ago, they took 5,000 euros from my credit card. Okay? So believe me, credit cards are not always very good. But I got the money back within 1 week. And I was very curious. And I went to the bank. And I told them, listen, can you explain to me how come for 250 euros 15 years ago or whatever, I nearly died, and for 5,000 euros now I got them back as quickly as this. What has changed?
Yes.
And
Opportunities and difficulties in building an IoT ecosystem based on big data and cloud computing technologies.
Programs, agents, they call them.
Lunch break.
They do a check.
Roundtable.
Look at my
opportunities and
habits,
difficulties.
Look at where I've been. They've even got records coming from the police where I've traveled. They check everything. They do not need to ask me or to send for me or whatever. They just know there and then, yes, probably he's right. It wasn't him. And they give you the... Okay. And then they created a case study on those 5,000 that they took from me for their own